Good morning, everyone. My name is Teacher Jarrett. Type that down. Teacher Jarrett. And today we are going to be talking more about our community. Okay? So we talked last time about our community and what people can do in our community. One job we talked about was firefighters, right? You have policemen who keep you safe, and you have firefighters who keep you safe from fire, right? They spray water all over the fire so that it goes out. So today we are going to read a story about firefighters. So let's go. Before we go to the story, let's read our essential question, okay? What jobs need to be done in a community? Read about a firefighter's exciting job. All right, you can read this now. Genre: realistic fiction. Essential question: what jobs need to be done in a community? Read about a firefighter's exciting job. Okay, so we can see this is a, does anyone know? If you know, raise your hand. Oh, I want you to tell me what you think it is. I'm listening. Yes, it is a fire truck. Very good. And can you see what this is? Yeah, it's a dog. So let's go to our next page. Okay. So who can tell me what the title of this story is? If you know the title, raise your hand. Okay, I want you to tell me. I'm listening. Okay, very good. The title of this story is The Red Hat. Very good. And the author, is this the author or is this the author? Yes, this is the author because we can see the word by. So when we just see by, that means she wrote out the story or typed the story, right? So her name is Eva Torres. And now we can see that this picture is a cartoon. It has lots of drawings. We can see who drew all of the pictures. If you know who drew the pictures, raise your hand. Okay, I want you to tell me. Yes, it was Vincent Nguyen. So we see illustrated by Vincent Nguyen, right? All right, very good. So we can see here's a woman, and she's a firefighter. So men can be firefighters, or women can be firefighters. And she has a red hat, and here's her dog's head, right? All right, let's go to the next page. Jen has a new job. She gets a red hat. So you can see this is Jen. See, there's Jen. So Jen just started working as a firefighter. And here is the man giving her a red hat. He must be her boss or her leader. She will use this hat a lot. So let's read together now. Jen has a new job. She gets a red hat. She will use this hat a lot. All right. So when we say use this hat, that means that she will have it in her hands or on her body every day, right? So how do you use a hat? Do you put a hat on your hand or do you put a hat on your head? If you think you should put a hat on your head, raise your hand. Oh, yes, all of you got it right. Yeah, the hat goes on your head. So when it says she will use this hat a lot, it means she will wear the hat on her head a lot, almost every day maybe. Okay, Jen is in bed. There is a bell. She grabs the red hat. So we can see a bell. The bell goes ding, 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 right? And so Jen was sleeping. She wakes up. Oh, and then when she wakes up, she grabs her red hat. Okay? So the word there means that something is happening. So somewhere in this area, there is a ringing bell. Okay? So there means that something is happening. Let's go to the next page. Jen can get down like this. Go, Jen, go! So we can see Jen is sliding down the pole to get to the fire truck, right? So we can see here's the pole and there's the fire truck. So she gets out of bed, grabs her red hat, jumps on the pole, and slides down to the fire truck. Okay? So let's read this together. Jen is in bed. There is a bell. She grabs the red hat. Jen can get down like this. Go, Jen, go! All right. Now, Jen hops on. The truck is driving away and she hops on the truck. Go, Jen, go! It's a big fire. Jen can help. Okay, see, there's Jen. She uses the hose to spray water and put out the fire. So let's read this together. Jen hops on. Go, Jen, go! It is a big fire. But Jen can help. So it is a big fire. Jen can help. That means her job will put out the fire. So when it says she can help, it means that she has the skill or she has the ability to put out the fire. Wow, the fire is out. Jen is wet. Thank you, Jen. So now she sprayed a lot of water and the fire went out. No more fire. Jen is wet because she was spraying the water. So you see the water is on her now. And then all of these people are waving. They say, thank you, Jen. Thank you. Now let's go to the next page. Jen plays with Matt and Jill. There is a bell again. All right, let's read this together. The fire is out. Jen is wet. Thank you, Jen. Jen plays with Matt and Jill. There is a bell again. So we can see Jen is playing with her two other workers. These people are firefighters too, right? And so when they have time to rest, when there's no fire, they can just rest and play games. But if the bell rings, they have to run, 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 and then spray water to put out the fire, right? Yeah. So let's see. Jen gets the red hat. She gets in the truck. Go, Jen, go! Rex is up there. He will not come to gym. Jen will help. All right, let's see. So we're going to read it together, okay? I'll listen. Jen gets the red hat. Jen gets in the truck. Go, Jen, go. Very good. Rex is up there. Up there. He will not come to Jim. So he will not come. He's up there. Jen will help. Wow. Okay, so we can see here that Jen is driving the truck. So she's in the truck and driving, right? Because there's an emergency. Someone needs help. So Rex is up there. So Jen got to this house and climbed up the ladder to get the cat out of the tree. You see? The cat is scared, so it's in the tree. So it won't come to Jim. This is Jim down here, right? So Jen went to get the cat. Okay. Jen gets Rex. See? Jen got the cat. The cat's name is Rex. Jim is glad. Jim is so happy. Rex is glad too. Look, Rex is sleeping in the, he's sleeping in the red hat. See that? He has a new red bed. Thank you, Jen. So this isn't a bed that you or I sleep in. This is a bed. It's actually a hat, but it's a bed because the cat can sleep inside of it, right? All right, let's read this together. Jen gets Rex. Jim is glad. Rex is glad too. He has a new red bed. Thank you, Jen. All right, very good, everyone. And now Jen is drinking water. See, there's Rex, and Rex's mother, and Rex's sister, and they're all drinking water together. So now we'll talk to the illustrator. So is the illustrator the person who, well, you can tell me who the illustrator is, okay? If you know, raise your hand. Okay, I want you to tell me who is an illustrator. What does an illustrator do? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, very good. An illustrator draws the pictures for the book. Good job. So let's read about Vincent, okay? Vincent Nguyen says, I live near a firehouse in New York City, so I'm familiar with its sights and sounds. To illustrate the red hat, I just walked around the block and took photos that helped me draw these pictures. Wow. So let's read this together. Meet the illustrator. Vincent Nguyen says, I live near a firehouse in New York City, so I'm familiar with its sights and sounds. To illustrate the red hat, I just walked around the block and took photos that helped me draw the pictures. Okay, very good. So before Vincent could draw the pictures of the firemen and Jen and the fire truck, he had to walk around and he took pictures. So when he went to draw the pictures, they looked very similar to the pictures in real life, right? Okay, let's see what Vincent's purpose is now. Remember, the purpose is the reason why he wanted to draw the pictures, right? So when the author or illustrator has a purpose, it's the reason why they wrote the book, okay? So I'll read this first. Illustrator's purpose. Vincent Nguyen wanted to show what the inside of a firehouse looks like. Draw something that is inside a firehouse and label your picture. So let's read this together. Vincent Nguyen wanted to show what the inside of a firehouse looks like. Draw something that is inside a firehouse. Label your picture. Okay, very good. So Vincent wanted to show you, and he wanted to show me what the inside of a firehouse looks like. So we can learn how the firehouse looks. Okay? All right. Now let's go to the next page. Okay, so now we are going to do a chart. Usually we do a detail chart, but today we're going to do something different, okay? So today we are going to make a character setting events chart. So, oops, we don't want that. So we are going to do character setting event chart, okay? So here's our character, here's our setting, here's our event. Okay, so we'll do 3 of these. One more. 3 rows of 3. Okay, so now let's type it here. So character setting and event. And I will fix this here. Okay, so we have our character, our setting, and our event, all right? So we need to work on this together. So let's go. First, before we start, let's see if we can remember something, okay? So who was the first character? Do you remember? If you know, raise your hand. Oh, the first character. I want you to tell me. Oh, yes, very good. The first character is Jen, right? She was the first character. So, what setting did we see Jen? Remember when she was sleeping, when she woke up, right? So where was she? If you think you know, raise your hand. Oh, I want you to tell me. I'm listening. Yes, she was at the fire station. Fire station. Okay. Right? And so the event, let's go up and look. So there was a bell, right? So there was the bell means she had to wake up. And then she went down the pole and got on the truck and then had to put out a fire, right? So let's put the bell woke Jen up and she took the fire truck fire and she put out fire with water. Okay, very good. So this is a little big, so we're going to have to make our box a little bigger, I think. Let's make it bigger. So fire station and so the setting was the fire station. Let's do this. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's do this. Event. We can move this over a little bit. We'll just have to cover up the book a little bit, that's all. Okay, so all right. So our character was Jen, and then she was at the fire station, and then she went to the house on fire, and the bell woke Jen up, and she took the fire truck to the fire, and she put out the fire with water, right? So that's our first character setting event. So now let's go to the next page. So the next page was Jen and Matt and Jill were playing a game at the fire station, right? And then they heard the bell. So first let's write Jen, Matt, Jill, right? So Jen, Matt, and Jill were at the fire station. Right? Okay, so they're at the fire station. And then they heard the bell, right? And they got in the fire truck, and she went to Rex's house to help Rex, right? So let's write here and say fire station. Jen, they heard the bell, and Jen drove the fire truck to whose house was it? Let's see. To Jim's house, right? To Jim's house. All right, so we can see that Jen, Matt, and Jill were at the fire station, and then they heard the bell, and Jen drove the fire truck to Jim's house, right? So then, when they were at Jim's house, the people who were the characters were Jen and his name starts with a J. It's right here. Can you tell me who it is? Raise your hand. Oh, I want you to tell me. Whose house did they go to? Who's another character? Yes, Jim. Jim. And then the final character, we're going to shout it out together, okay? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Rex! Yes, Rex was the third character. And so the setting was, do you know? If you know, raise your hand. Oh, yeah, you can tell me. Yes, the setting was at Jim's house, right? Jim's house. Very good. And so the event was that Jim's cat Rex was stuck in the Rex wouldn't come down from the tree, so Jen helped Rex get down, right? So we'll put this over here just so that we can still read, okay? So we know that Jim's cat, so we can see because there's an apostrophe here, and apostrophe S means that the cat belonged to Jim, right? So Jim's cat, Rex, wouldn't come down from the tree, so Jen helped Rex get down, right? So the character was Jen, Jim, and Rex. The setting was at Jim's house, and the event was Jim's cat, Rex, wouldn't come down from the tree, so Jen helped Rex get down. See, Jen got Rex, and then they were all happy, right? So let's read all of this together, okay? I'll move this over here again. Okay, so your turn to read. Character, setting, event. Okay, so character is Jen. The setting is at the fire station and the house on fire. In the event, the bell woke Jen up and she took the fire truck to the fire and she put out the fire with water. Very good. Okay, now let's look at the next event. Characters, because there's 3, so we say characters, were Jen, Matt, and Jill. The setting was the fire station, and they heard the bell. They heard the bell. Jen drove the fire truck to Jim's house, right? Because that's where Rex was stuck. So the last event, event number 3, ready? So the characters were Jen, Jim, and Rex, and the setting was Jim's house, and the event was Jim's cat, Rex, wouldn't come down from the tree. So Jen helped Rex get down. Very good. Very, very good, everyone. Now, I'm going to erase all of this. So if you want to practice some more, you can pause and rewind and keep reading. But now we are going to move on, okay? All right, so now we're going to answer some questions. So let's type the questions out on this side and then we can answer them. So, who is Jen and where does she work? And what happens to the red at the beginning? At the end. All right, so we have a couple questions to answer now. So I'm going to put a white background here for us. So now we can see it, okay? So who knows? Oh, I guess we'll put this over here for now. Who is Jen and where does she work? So Jen is, does anyone remember? I think some remember. Okay, raise your hand. I want you to tell me. Very good. Jen is a firefighter and she works at the firehouse or fire station. You can say both. But let's type that down here. Jen is a firefighter and she works at the firehouse or fire station. Okay. So now let's go to the next question. What happens to the red hat at the beginning of the story? What happens to it at the end? So at the beginning of the story, Jen gets the red hat and she has to use it in the fire, right? She has to use it to put out the fire. So at the beginning of the story, Jen wears the hat to put a big fire, right? So who remembers what happens at the end? I think someone does. If you know, raise your hand. Oh, I want you to tell me. Yep, Rex did. Yes, Rex the cat was sleeping in her hat, right? Right? Rex was sleeping. So at the end of the story, Rex was using Jen's hat as was sleeping in Jen's hat. Okay, very good. Now let's put this over here. Okay, so how can we tell that the red hat is realistic fiction? So realistic sounds like the word real, right? So realistic means it's something that seems real, but fiction is something that did not happen, right? A made-up story. And so realistic fiction means that it is a made-up story, but it is something that might be possible to happen in real life. So, for example, a story about firefighters is realistic fiction, but a story about talking animals is just fiction, right? Because animals cannot talk. Okay, so we can tell that the story is realistic fiction because the story has drawings in it, but the story is about something that could happen in real life, right? So, how can you tell that the Red Hat is realistic fiction? We can tell that the story is realistic fiction because the story has drawings in it. But the story is about something that could happen in real life. All right, so now let's read all of this together. I'll put the white background over here. And then once I get the white background set up, we can read it all together. Okay. So let's read together. I'll listen, you read. Oh, I guess we just have to do this. Okay, so who is Jen and where does she work? Jen is a firefighter and she works at the firehouse or fire station. What happens to the red hat at the beginning of the story? What happens to it at the end? At the beginning of the story, Jen wears the hat to put out a big fire. At the end of the story, Rex was sleeping in Jen's hat. Very good. Let's all pretend to sleep, okay? Ready? Do this. Close our eyes and we can snore together. Ready? Woo! Woo! Are you sleeping? Well, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. We have to answer the third question, okay? Okay, so let's, here we go. So that's how we can tell that the story is realistic fiction, okay? So now let's read this together and then we'll be done. So how can you tell that the Red Hat is realistic fiction? We can tell that the story is realistic fiction because the story has drawings in it, but the story is about something that could happen in real life. Whew, okay. Now we can erase this and go to the next page, right? Let's see. So we answered all the questions. The last question is, how does Jen help her community? So we know that Jen helps her community because she's a firefighter. And so she helps people by putting out fires. So, psh, and then the fire goes down. And she also helps people by helping their cat or helping them if they fall down, right? She helped Rex and she helped Jim by getting Rex out of the tree. So she is helping lots of people in her community, okay? So now we'll go to the next story. Oh, this is nonfiction. So compare texts, read about what real firefighters do. Okay, so let's read this together. I'll read first and then you can read. A bell rings at the firehouse. Firefighters slide down a pole. They put on special clothes fast. So we can see, here's the pole. Remember, Jen slid down the pole too when she heard the first bell. And here's the fire truck. And these are firefighters, right? One, there's a hand, so there's two, there's three. And they put on their clothes really fast. So they shoot, and then pull up their pants, and then put on their hat, and then run to the fire truck, right? So they are so fast. So they also wear special boots to protect themselves from the fire. The firefighters jump in a fire truck. The red truck speeds to the fire. That means it goes very fast. It has a loud siren. Woo, 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 woo. And a flashing red light. That tells cars to move away. Move away, right? And so there's lights and a hose. That's used to take the water and spray it on the fire. And a ladder. See, there's a ladder. So you can climb to the top. So let's read this together. So, genre, nonfiction. Compare texts. Read about what real firefighters do. A bell rings at the firehouse. Firefighters slide down a pole. They put on special clothes fast. Hat, boots, pole. The firefighters jump in a fire truck. The red truck speeds to the fire. It has a loud siren and a flashing red light. That tells cars to move away. So here's lights, hose, ladder, okay? So one thing that teacher Jarrett forgot to do was look at the title of this story. And I think you know. If you know the title of the story, raise your hand. Oh, I wanted you to tell me. The title of the story is Firefighters at Work. Very good. The title of the story is Firefighters at Work. All right, so let's go to the next page. The brave firefighters get to work. They use hoses to spray water. Their special clothes protect them. They put out the fire. Yay! So they're just like Jen, right? Let's read together. The brave firefighters get to work. They use hoses to spray water. Their special clothes protect them. They put out the fire. Yay! So protect means it gives you a shield, right? So if fire is burning and you have a special clothes on, then you don't get burned, right? You stay safe because the clothes protect you. So the last page. Now it is time for lunch. They have lunch together. Then they wait for the next bell. Okay, so let's read together. Now it is time for lunch. They have lunch together. Then they wait for the next bell. Okay, very good, everyone. So we saw the firefighters in the firehouse, the firefighters on their way to the fire, the firefighters putting out the fire, and the firefighters eating together. So our last question is, how do firefighters help the community? So firefighters help the community because they help put out fires, right? And so if a fire gets put out very fast, then people stay safe, right? So they're all safe and they can go home to their family and be happy, right? So that's very important that the firefighters do that in our community. Do you know a firefighter in your community? If you do, you should say thank you to the firefighter. Say thank you for helping my community, right? Because they do lots of hard work to make sure you stay safe. So that is all for today for our lesson. So we're going to say bye-bye, bye-bye, and I will see you next time. Yay! Okay, bye-bye.